I think the regular version is the dick cheese.
Welcome
version.
and Merry
Not my favorite
Christmas.
song.
I don't know what that was, but
I'll
you know,
say that.
Christmas. It's Christmas.
This is the first of our. We didn't do.
Oh.
So for the record, we did
No,
not do
better than-
enough Halloween movies this year, but we're gonna do a bunch of Christmas-like movies. I think, right? Like,
No, I think we're going from this right into like Harry Potter.
which is a Christmas.
Yeah,
movie,
sure.
but-
I mean, yeah.
come on.
We did like 3 scary movies. That's not bad. Like 3. We did a good number, didn't we?
Yeah, I always feel like we never do enough though, because it's just so.
I
Many
mean,
good
I'll
ones.
watch all horror movies
There's
all
so
the
many
time.
good ones.
But
out
yeah.
there.
We're gonna have to watch it. Will just be.
We don't
a
watch
horror
the
movie.
good ones, but there's a lot more bad ones.
But you
too.
guys, we're just jumping right into Christmas, just
Wait,
like
wait.
all the retailers
Wait,
do.
this wasn't a horror movie.
Oh, good, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Like this is the most frightened I've ever been in a movie.
There was a Thanksgiving while we were thankful it was over.
Yeah.
Christmas. With a Christmas beer.
When it's good.
Well, let's
too.
show this off actually.
This is actually
Christmas Happy New Year.
this is
Yeah.
actually Bray Wyatt's old gimmick with Bray Wyatt's other old gimmick.
Matt, you look like
Oh,
you
yeah.
look like if Bray Wyatt and Happy Corbin violently fucked each other and made that.
All right, I'll take it.
Right? It's working.
I'm not gonna laugh like a moron the whole time. It's fine.
You can be
Mad Cat Moss. Jeez.
God.
Okay, so we watched
Something worse than that.
the
Home-
new holiday classic.
Yeah. Oh, good. Home Sweet Home Alone. The
This was
newest.
Disney Plus exclusive because
Yeah.
this is too big for the theaters.
Well, I mean, because Disney owns the Home Alone.
Obviously, you can tell they own it because
Disney owns everything.
they.
Everything that we loved from childhood, and then they're just destroying it.
Like, if you just took that Home Alone movie, just rough sex.
So let's just-
So how do you know this is gonna be great? Who's the first person you see in this movie? From Saturday Night Live.
Oh, Kenan Thompson.
That's right, Kenan
Yeah,
Thompson.
It's true.
That's her favorite Pride movie.
Yeah.
Actually, anyone who just had a quick cameo, but were amazing in that quick cameo, they were all my favorite person in this movie. Not any of the people who actually starred in this.
Not
movie.
Rob
Get-
Delaney.
Guess who one of the writers of this movie was? Wrote the screenplay.
Zack Snyder.
SNL's own Mikey Day.
Mm.
Like, you're funnier than this, man.
I don't trust you anymore.
You're funnier than this, dude. What am I
Okay.
doing?
So this starts off. You see this couple trying to sell their house, and so they're doing like an open house thing. By the way, their house. This guy, Kenan Thompson, he's the realtor
Real
guy.
estate agent.
He has not prepped this house for an open house.
Oh.
Like there's just like the first shot they show, I'm like this house looks super cluttered,
Yeah.
and like they just like are doing this open house. None of the stuff's ready. Like she's telling the husband to get water. I'm like that's stuff that the realtors already have. That's what they do. Like that's what they get paid for. Like this is already bad.
Well,
We
not to
blame you, Mikey
mention,
Day.
that was a very busy open house. Like usually with an open house, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna let 5 families in at once," because that's crazy to have that many people just like traipsing around
Yeah,
your
and asking
stuff.
Especially
questions.
with
Yeah,
your objects that they can easily take.
yeah. So,
Which is part of the premise of this movie.
but also, they're trying to sell their home. I'm sorry, what weird universe do you live in that you would not immediately be able to sell that gorgeous home
Yeah.
in like a day?
Yeah.
You know what? It's just the times we live in, man. We're in an economic downturn with the house selling.
No, it's not true.
So we have Pam and Jeff,
Yeah.
who, I mean, they kind of show in the promotional stuff as the villains of this movie, and you're like,
Yeah.
Oh, they're. I mean, they
like
in
the
the trailer
Marvin
they're
Larry.
playing the villains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Marvin
They're the
Larry.
wet bandits of
Yeah.
this movie,
Marvin Larry.
literally and
I'm sorry.
figuratively.
I'm sorry. Yes. And
Yeah,
so,
Marvin Larry is actually the third one.
So
probably.
Because
Yeah.
I died, so I'm now
Yeah.
Larry. Okay.
yeah, and so but then you cut to this kid sitting in the back seat of his mom's car, and for
And
some
they're
reason
English.
they're British. Yeah, they're British. Sure, okay. I mean, I guess I don't really, but why? But okay, sure.
Because Anne, what's her name? Pam. No, it's
And Pam and
well,
the Blam.
I can't remember the
Pan Am.
I can't remember the actress that plays her anymore. I should have brought my stuff with us. Ainsley, something. Anne Ainsley. No,
You're just making up now.
Ainsley. B. Ainsley. B. Ainsley. That's my final answer.
B. Ainsley. Okay.
I'm gonna go with A. Ainsley.
Okay.
B-E-A Ainsley. Comedian.
Bay Ainsley.
Yeah, so she's the
Boom,
mom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah, a very famous comedian, very funny comedian actually too.
Okay.
It's Aisling B.
Oh, okay. Say that again.
I
Oh, and we
Basically,
should mention, yes, the main bad guys too are
Not
Rob
bad guys.
Delaney
Not
and
bad guys.
Ellie Kemper. So
who are
you
very
know,
funny comedians.
classic, comedic people. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good bones in this
Yeah.
movie.
Rob
And
Delaney
then-
is one of my favorite episodes of Travel Man.
Well,
And Ellie Kemper, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. So you're like, okay, well, all right, we got some stars-ish
Yeah.
already. Start off. Yeah, Kenan Thompson, who's just a fun guy to see and stuff, so.
My first hot take on this kid, and I wrote it down, is this kid is an asshole.
yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we get to this kid and his mom in the car. This kid is a dick.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's just being rude to her right off the bat. He's like, you gotta go to the or no, she has to go to the bathroom, right? Or he has to go to I can't remember.
No. He
Yeah.
has to go to the bathroom, and so she goes, well, we'll just pretend we're buying this house and go in to
yeah,
the bathroom.
and take a shit in their toilet. That's fucked up.
Already
Yeah.
kind of douche move.
Like if he's
The
a
mom's
dude.
kind of douche, too, though. Like, mom is fueling this kid to be a douche.
So
I
this
mean,
kid's
but
name
but
is-
she is fully the Captain O'Hara blueprint, by
RTA.
the way. Like they're just
Oh,
like,
man.
here,
Oh,
these
I
are the
know.
steps you have to
I
take,
know.
and you have to realize that
Also,
feel this way, and then
Let's talk about who the real villain of this movie is. And the real
The writers.
villain of this movie,
Oh.
no, the real villain of this movie is that they decided to use the same fucking music to try to elicit the feelings that you
Blasphemy.
had for the first two movies
Yes.
and how great they felt, and it ruined it. It
This is
just,
blasphemy.
it was horrible. It was so, it pissed me off so much.
it was like one of those things where like, should we have someone write? No, we got all this
No.
music already. We got Jesus water. We got to use it, man. Danny Elfman, man.
It's
I
the
wrote
same
this,
story you guys accept. It's not, but it is. Like,
What? How much better would this have been if Hans Zimmer had scored it?
Right?
But if you slow down the ding ding dings, you hear.
So they stop at this house where they're having the open house, and he goes to use the bathroom. And then he sees a soda, and he's like, "Oh, I want a soda." And the dad, who's trying to sell the house, is like, "Yeah, you should probably ask your mom. There's a lot of sugar in those."
Wait,
Like,
the scene before, like half a scene before this, she's like, "Yeah, you can't have any soda."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's
the
that's
kid's
done.
a jerk. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then the kid starts just dirty dozing him.
No,
No.
Like, this dude, like
he was so rude to him. I'm
Yeah.
like, who is
I'm
this
like,
kid?
you need to go.
Get the fuck out of my house."
Seriously, this kid's the hero of
Yeah.
the movie? Like,
Nah,
are
bro.
you freaking
No,
kidding
bro,
me?
you need to go.
Yeah. So, but then the mom comes up and she points out because the guy was looking for water and opened a box of dolls that his mom had or something that the kid was
Just
like,
weird dolls.
yeah. And the kid was like trying to play with it, and he's like, "Can you put it down, please?" But she's like, "Oh, that's a very famous doll." She's
Yeah.
like, "That's worth a lot of
Who doesn't
money."
recognize that, right?
Right? Seriously. She's like, "I saw it on Antiques Roadshow or something," and he's
Yeah,
like,
no,
"Okay."
It's like, well,
Um,
see you later. Bye.
Right. So then they leave. And
Well, there's one, right before they leave, though, there's one spot where Max kind of looks down. He's already been a dick.
yeah.
And he looks down at that doll, and you're like, did
Oh,
you take this
maybe.
doll?
But there's also a line. So Jeff, the dad, goes, "I didn't get half as much selling my kids," and it's like,
That's going to come back later, guys.
I just wrote cringy jokes in there, and
But
Like,
also,
yeah.
going to come back later.
well, and even the way he delivered it was like he wasn't comfortable doing it. It was just weird. That's pretty much how the whole movie felt, though.
Mm.
Like they weren't really comfortable doing this, but they did it anyway.
But money.
Right, exactly.
Well, so why did he say it? So the movie could happen. Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
So
That's the whole
Kenan,
movie.
so Kenan Thompson, his character, the real estate agent, he's telling them, "Oh, I think I got some bites in your home," and then they realize their kids are home. They
His
must
name
have
is
taken
Gavin
an Uber
Washington,
home.
by the way.
Gavin.
Yeah,
Gavin
I
Washington.
wrote. I just every time he came on screen, I wrote Keenan is a dream.
Seriously,
He's
right?
a snack. It was
he
fun.
really no, he's
He's
the
fun.
best.
I'm like, I don't know if it's the cut of his suit, but he looked real good too. I was like, go Keenan, man.
He's
Live your
good
best
looking
life.
dude. No,
Live
I,
your best life.
I
man.
said something about that. Remember when we were watching it? I said something like, "No one's gonna say no to Kenan Thompson." Seriously,
Plus, he's
like,
going to do that thing. What he will do for the rest of life, and he should, is do the thing like Rob Schneider and like just make that mid-level money, like
Yeah.
that, just mid-level
don't
money.
aim too high.
You
Yeah.
can pay. You got two houses.
Do like
Yeah.
300
Just
movies
fine.
on that mid-level
Just fine.
money,
Yeah.
and you
Get a
you do it.
commercial every now and then.
Yeah,
Get a nationwide
yeah.
or something.
Do it. Keenan, live your best life.
It keeps
man.
you hungry and keeps you humble.
Yeah.
So you're not spending like $100,000 on a boat or something.
But
You're working-
and hopefully not doing a sequel to this movie.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
Imagine.
so the
That's
their kids don't know that they're selling the house because it turns out they're like having money problems.
Which
That's
also,
what this is
like,
all about.
okay.
also,
This was the worst like shoehorned
Yeah.
B plot where you're like,
No.
oh, they're gonna find out. Like, who cares?
They're
Yeah.
like, oh, we can't let the kids find out. And then they're like, oh, we took an Uber home, by the way. They're
Yeah.
2 kids.
Yeah. Well, it's like a teenage girl, so.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
But
it's
also,
fine,
like,
and she took her
If you can't
little
even
brother.
tell your kids you're having financial troubles and you're actively trying to sell the house, like it's not going to go any better when you're like, oh, we already sold the house. Now you have less time to process this. But also, you're not a good couple already if you're like lying to your kids like that. Like they're old enough to get it. So.
They have no chemistry as a couple.
Oh, good.
It's like bad.
I would watch their sex tape, but only to see like how they don't have sex.
It was like devastating. It was kind of like watching this relationship that is in the November of its relationships, and then they're
Yeah,
like, "We're trying to stick together for the kids or something."
Yeah,
I don't know.
It feels like they're definitely like cheating on.
It was hard.
people.
It felt hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oof.
But I also feel like Ellie Kemper doesn't have any chemistry
With
anyone.
anybody?
You're right.
Yeah, like she's asexual.
She's like a weird robot.
and that's
yeah.
fine. But like,
Like a really cute robot.
I just feel like whenever they're like, oh, this love interest, I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
Like you're wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So the kid and his mom get home, and you find out in the car that their whole family's staying with them because they're all going to Tokyo for Christmas. Because you know Tokyo, the place you go
Well,
for Christmas,
And again,
this is
the
actually
place you take a fucking 11-hour
Right.
flight to.
this is a traditional
Christmas.
Home Alone thing.
I mean,
though.
it's probably
where
more
they
than that.
they have this huge family that is going on a trip somewhere that they should not even be able to afford, even if they were rich.
Yeah.
Like 11 people going to Tokyo. What? Like that's a lot of money just for the plane. And you saw their hotel room later in the movie. Their hotel room was a baller. I was like, damn, that hotel room's like
yeah,
so
that's
cute.
one of the hotel rooms.
God
not all the
damn.
hotel rooms.
Well, it looked like they might have one of those big, like, 8-person suite type things almost. But still,
So and they
Goddamn,
live
like-
obviously in a very affluent neighborhood, right?
guys,
Like the
and
original,
they
yeah,
have a protection service.
a security system.
What's it called?
What's the
though?
name?
it's McAllister.
McAllister
Home
Security, right. So
guys,
that's what
Macaulay
he ended
Culkin's
up
not coming back,
doing.
but
Yeah,
he is in this movie.
right?
Spirit.
And we get like the next best thing,
Like,
right?
you couldn't even get Kieran?
This
Right?
made me mad. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, how about no?
No.
Also, yeah, just get
Fuck
Kieran.
him.
He's not. He'll like
Fuck
torpedo.
you.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so...
Also, and he's a great
Yeah.
actor too. And since it's session, guys, watch it.
Yeah, at this point I was like, Kieran is the villain, right?
Yeah.
Also, Jeff, we've established that they're trying to make the
Pete
first,
Holmes in this.
they're trying to make the first couple seem like they're not likable, and they do a very good job of it because Jeff is like this know-it-all, like he's got like
Oh,
a
he's like
Oh,
super
well,
nerdy.
it's actually.
shitty millennial vibe where
Yeah.
he just keeps cutting in. You're like, okay, cool.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I said a vibe. Mike, you're a Gen Xer. You're fine. But it was like the vibe you're getting off the guy. You're like, okay, I get it. Like, and Ellie Kemper, you didn't really get anything off her, but him, like, you're like, this guy's a douche. Like,
Yeah.
just leave me alone. I hate this already. But we have to keep watching it.
So they get home to all the family. Yeah, did we catch the dad who's literally in 2 scenes of the movie and then they just yelled
Andy
to him
Daly.
off
Andy
screen?
Daly.
Amy Daly.
Yeah.
When he came out at the end, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
she thought Pete Holmes was the dad.
that's
Like,
what
no,
I
he's
did
the
too.
uncle.
I was like,
No,
is he
because
the
they
dad?
literally gave him. He's like, I'm gonna be on screen.
And
For
Andy
like-
Daly's a fucking fantastic.
No,
actor.
yeah.
And had no scenes in
No,
this
but
movie.
that's what I mean. He was like, you get an hour of my time.
Yeah,
So
could he
they're like,
not
we're
do this
getting,
movie?
we're
Is that
like,
what it
we're
is?
getting the establishing shot and we're getting the ending
Yes,
shot,
and that was
that's
it. And it was so weird. And he had like no
Yeah.
lines.
Well, the whole Lego thing is like that's how you knew his dad. He's he said
Okay,
something.
Max.
He said something like
Wasn't
Max,
his name.
but he said like something about him being like his son.
like, look, Max, the Lego
weirdly,
Maniac.
like it was like that was the
You are
establishment
my
shot,
son.
and then it
Bye.
was gone, and then it was gone for the end.
Yeah, actually, I think I missed the first part because I was writing stuff down. It's
Yeah.
also like just shooting garbage at you so quick.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Because they were trying to give you some sort of feel like the old movie, and then turn it on its head. But you didn't get any of that feel, so it didn't matter. Like
Yeah.
when the twist happened, you're like,
Do you remember
Oh,
who
okay.
the other uncle was?
I do.
The other uncle.
Yeah, there were 2 uncles.
No, I just
Who
Pete
was-
Holmes.
And
Pete
he
Holmes
was only in.
Because
it
I was
was
hoping it was gonna
Chris
be Pete's
Chris
Holmes.
Parnell was
Parnell.
in this less.
Oh yes,
Parnell.
Chris
Yeah.
Parnell.
He's in this less than.
Yeah.
Chris
Then-
He
Parnell.
has a scene. Yeah.
Also, like
Maybe 2.
old. Poor guy.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's-
he got
he's-
old.
he's
Look
good.
what-
No, he's like
He finally let his hair get
Yeah,
gray.
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
did write that down, but yes, he was
Yeah.
just like,
Okay.
I'm here, bye now. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So
Let-
here's
let me see
so we find out that their flight to Tokyo has been like messed up. Now they're gonna have to be on 2 flights. So the mom's like trying to deal with this. She's on the phone trying to like talk to the people. Clearly, no one else is giving a shit. Like she has to do all of this, and she's
wait,
on the phone trying to
We
talk
skipped.
to them.
We skipped
What?
Jonah coming in.
No, we didn't.
Oh, this was before
This was before it
Okay.
because he shows up late at night. Remember?
My name is Jonah.
You just ruined the thing I was getting excited to
Okay.
talk about.
Okay. Now.
I'm just
Now,
getting.
get
I'm just
mild.
moving the.
This is the last
story
episode,
further
guys.
along.
Yeah, stay classy.
I'm just trying to move it along. So she's trying to get these flights reorganized. She's on the phone with the
I must have missed this.
Yeah. No, because remember the son's trying to talk to her because he's like annoyed because there's so many people in the house.
There's so much going on at once.
No,
I
and
think
he's-
when I was
yeah.
like,
He goes. They say you're not the only person in this house. And he goes, I wish I was.
well, yeah, because the mom is like, I'm trying
like
to talk,
tapping
right to
and
the
he's just
camera.
trying to
oh,
get her
that's right.
attention.
He starts talking to her right when she's
Yeah.
talking. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and it.
Yeah, and I just looked at Jamie. I was like, this is actually the only true part of this so far.
But also, shut the fuck up, kid. So, yeah, so she's just
'Cause
like,
that's
you're not
fine.
the only person in the house. And he does the, I wish I was thing, just like the original. And then he goes and falls asleep in the
in a
garage.
gorgeous BMW
In the car.
with
But,
like a
but
tablet.
in
in it.
Yeah.
the garage with a tablet, like just goes in.
And I'm
the
sorry,
car.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if it's that cold outside, it's getting cold in that garage.
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
They have a heated garage. It's
Plus,
not
it's a
expensive
BMW
fucking house.
they're rich
XK27.
people, yeah.
The lap of luxury.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like the BMW
Right.
sponsored this. Like, okay, I got it, man.
So then Rob Delaney's Jeff is on the online and he realizes this lady was right about the doll.
they're selling a doll on eBay for $200,000.
Yeah, and he's like,
on
oh my
eBay.
god.
Yeah.
So
on
he,
eBay.
he wakes her up and tells her about it, and she's
Makes
like,
sense.
what? And as he's telling her about
Yeah,
it,
get on man.
they start getting calls from someone. It's his brother. But I have to say, as much as I hate Jonah and
Jonah.
like one of the best TV like bad
His
films.
name's
of all time.
Hunter, by the way, the brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Timothy Simons.
You could tell they were trying to make him the same character in this movie, but I will tell you, he was my favorite character. He had the best lines.
Yeah, he was
He
fun.
called everything in this
He was
movie. It
legitimately
was
fun.
so funny.
Yeah, he's
I was
really
like,
fun
I
character.
like this guy. This guy's awesome. He was arguably like a better family man than his brother. Like he wasn't paying attention to his kid, but he also wasn't like disappearing off for things.
Or
Like they were.
lying directly
Yeah,
to
she
his
was.
children.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they later in the movie they missed the daughter's recital. for doing this
Performance.
thing.
Yeah.
Cool guys.
Which is also never they never reel back to that at all.
No,
It's
no.
not the kid's not mad at all.
So anyway,
nothing.
Um.
Oh, so in this scene though, there's a huge MacGuffin in the room that so they're getting out of the car. The
Hunter
kids-
and May.
Yeah.
the little-
May
the
May, I love her. No,
and the
I
little
love
kid,
the
though,
way
little
she
kid,
walked
so-
and everything.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they were killing it.
Yeah.
They were my favorite part
Yeah,
of
they,
this
they
movie.
like had a whole backstory that I
Yeah.
would have rather seen.
Yeah, Ali Maki played
Yeah.
May.
They
I
were
would've
amazing.
Much
together.
rather seen
Yeah.
their story.
Yeah.
But then the little kid comes out and he throws something. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, he's just doing that.
That's his thing.
And then you're like, oh, that's gonna.
I
No,
forgot
I
that.
think
I
it was
forgot
like
that.
the other dad's. I think it was like Jeff's phone.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's
he
been
does that.
taking things.
And he does that. He throws.
I
Yeah.
forgot that part.
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. No, I just saw it. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is
What does he
MacGuffin.
call Pam, by the way?
Like, MacGuffin. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
What does he call Pam, by the way? It was
Pamela
his
Ding
fun-
Dong.
His fun nickname for
Yeah.
Pam.
He also
Pamela
says
Ding
give
Dong.
that luggage a tuggage, and I was like,
Yeah.
I almost wrote that down. I forgot it.
No,
and I forgot about it.
He was my favorite. He was the best part of this movie. He was better than anyone else.
And also,
I
playing the douche he was born to play.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you, I was happy during his scene.
Yes.
And the rest of this movie, I was very
Yes.
sad.
So
Let's
we
move
get
on
to
to
the.
this.
This is the stupidest part too. You can tell they cut a lot of scenes out of this because we get to the next day
Improv scenes or something, maybe?
and he's told her about, and he's realized he's gonna go try to find this kid. He's realized he remembered their names. He looks them up online. He's gonna go try to find him, and he gets there
Yeah,
as
yeah.
they're.
And then, like, they do the memory thing where it's like, my name is this name.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, there
Oh.
were way too many dream
Oh.
sequences and memory. Like,
Also, Jeff remembers every single piece of their conversation.
Yeah.
Every single piece.
he's
He
on the
remembered-
spectrum, honey.
But,
Yeah.
like, there
But
was
guess what he doesn't remember? The fucking code of
Yeah,
our
yeah.
house.
Okay,
name.
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're not there.
Jesus
We're not-
Christ.
Come on, you guys. We gotta keep this moving.
No,
this
we
movie's
cannot.
terrible.
We cannot.
So he gets to the house, and everyone's running around like crazy,
Yeah.
just like
Pete
Call Back to
Holmes
the Old
being
Movie.
wasted. This was his
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
part, but it's still being wasted.
Because
All
they
these
were
comedians are-
pecking. So, but he literally goes up trying to talk to the mom. He's like, "Oh, I want to talk to
Yeah.
the mom." He's trying to get her name, and they say that she left already. No, fuck 100 times no. Would you split your family onto two
Well, she
plates
was on
and
the
you would
first
go
plane.
first?
Yeah.
No,
Of course,
it's
yeah.
your
Makes
house
total
that they
sense.
stayed
But
in.
especially to make sure that your kid, like your son.
No, and they give no excuse as to
But
why
also-
she forgets her kid. In the first one,
Oh, no,
the alarm doesn't
they
go off.
do because
Okay.
because they thought that the kid went with her,
With her
and
for
she
some
thought the
reason.
kid was going with them.
Why would your
But also-
kid be going
But
with
also,
them?
the fuck, she's the one who
Where's
set
the
everything
dad?
up. She should have gone last.
No, I know. You
she
have to
set
lock
everything
up.
up.
Yeah, and you have to lock up your house. Like, you're gonna leave that to your
Yeah.
stupid
Yeah, to the
brothers-in-law?
brother, yeah.
You know
Like-
how
Brothers-in-law.
dumb they are.
Not even brother-in-law.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how dumb they are.
She could, by
You
her
know.
own confession, she knows no one in this country.
Right.
It's just her and her son.
Yeah.
And she knows how
That's it.
dumb they are.
Yeah.
They are stupid.
And
They
they-
are
No.
dumb
So anyway-
And
people.
they think that Jeff is
Giant
the driver
plot
of
hole.
their car. And I'm
Giant
like,
no,
what?
they keep saying, yeah, and he's like, no, I need to talk to her.
but also like,
Then they
why
shout
would he
out
already be
they
there?
shout out the code to the house. Wow,
oh
this
my god!
guy's
And then they
everywhere.
yell the goddamn
and
code.
you're like, okay, that's coming. That's a thing.
Well, you knew that was coming.
Which
100%
also,
coming
it's
back.
funny because Jeff's like, that's a bad code, and you're like, yeah, it really is a bad code. You're right, Jeff.
But the driver, who is not part of the family, says that, and it's like, yep, and they just walk
Yeah.
by. and
Guys,
you're like,
what
oh.
was Jeff's job?
He was some sort
Secure,
of analyst.
yeah, computer, whatnot, jargon.
Shit, I don't know where I wrote it down, but it's data
System-
management.
Yeah, data. Yeah.
Data management.
Well, yeah, and he
specialist.
brings up different data management things like solid state
At the
drives
worst
and-
times too, like
So-
when they
so-
go to
so
see
by the
Santa
way,
Claus.
You should not just rely on the cloud. I was on Jeff's side here, actually. You should not just rely on the cloud. You should.
I agree.
This guy is you.
Da-
You and
data,
Jeff.
data migration
You are
specialist.
Jeff.
was it was.
You
Data
guys,
migration.
there you go.
You should have good data.
But do you
migration.
remember what scene came after this? He was running late to their hand bells performance. Yes, which I did literally, that's what I wrote.
Jim
was
Rash.
Gaydeen.
Again,
So,
wasted. Jim
Right
Rash.
there, boom.
Yeah.
Right there, boom.
Yeah.
Jim Rash.
Wasted. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was just Mikey Day was like, I want to get all the comedians I like.
Yeah.
And
Maybe,
just-
maybe like all his friends or something.
So-
Like,
possibly.
But he shows up wearing the wrong shirt, and they're playing
They're
a
both writers.
handbell. They're in a handbell group.
This
But the
was
worst part
so
is,
fucking
They
stupid.
give no shits for
They're
this
just talking,
performance
yeah.
now. They're literally talking through it, ruining
And
the
it's supposed
song.
to be funny, but it's not.
No,
funny.
it's just they're the
like, as
worst.
professionals, as people that have been professional singers, this is
Not to
fucking
mention, you work as a
frustrating.
group. You are shitting on your whole group
Yeah,
right now.
Whole group. The only funny part was that he wore a random shirt, because I've done that
No.
shit before. You're like, I fucking couldn't find the shirt. I got a random shirt. But then, like, everything else was just super downhill.
Yeah.
That's it.
So everyone is the worst. And Jonah is there, and this is one of the times where he just calls it as it is. He's like, this is terrible. It's like, yes, it is. It is, Hunter.
he was all of us watching this.
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is that?
I was like, not wrong. You're not wrong, bud. But so then we get the obligatory montage of the kid home alone, doing dumb things. He's like,
Like-
Oh, yeah, because he realized, so he wakes up and realizes everyone's gone, and he's got his wish, I guess, or something.
Yeah, but-
This one's got a pretty great
It
stand
was
though.
so over
They give
the
you
top.
they give you that one for the kids, the old Scarface, but instead of cocaine, it is a pile of M&Ms. Huh? All the adults, all the adults are like, yes.
Yeah.
Mikey Day
Scarface.
definitely wrote that scene. 100%.
I was like, right when that happened, I was like, oh, he's.
Yeah,
God damn. Why?
yeah.
And also, kid totally fine being home alone.
Yeah.
And like what I don't like about, and I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think it's how
No.
they wrote the character.
Mhm.
Like he is just like he goes between like I'm fine being home alone to like no I'm home alone and
Yeah.
you're like okay.
I don't think it's his fault. I think he was a pretty good actor, to be honest. That kid, that's what he was given.
Yeah.
That's what you get, you know, like.
I know what you're saying, because in the original, Kevin, like, clearly enjoyed and was having a good time. But there were times where he, like, got... Like, he's just such a better actor, though, because he would get scared, and they were, like, legitimate reasons to get scared. Or he'd get sad, and, like, they knew how to emote that well.
Well, and Kevin was
And-
legitimately treated like shit. Too.
Yeah,
So when
no,
everyone
exactly.
saw it, it's
No,
like,
he
fuck, I'm
said
not gonna
something
treat
about
like
that.
shit now. He's
It was like-
you gotta be quiet because you're talking.
Yeah,
a
no,
lot.
in the
Like,
original
what?
one, like, Kevin was literally, everyone was being well, not so much the parents, but his brother was, and his parents were just like, everyone shut up, you know, like, we don't want to deal with you. But you're right, he was getting crapped on. This kid was a complete jerk to his mom. I'm like, am I supposed to feel for anybody in this movie?
But-
Because I hate all of them.
But also, he was a complete jerk to the villains.
Yeah.
Like, even though
Yeah.
the twist changes that a little bit, He was still a dick to them.
But
Yeah.
you know when they were writing this, they like didn't have that originally, and someone was like, "Dude, like,
This is
he's
too
the kid
dark."
is the villain."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh shit! I mean,
No.
no, he didn't do it." And you're like, "Okay, what a twist."
We'll give him.
M. Night Shyamalan would
We'll
be
give him
clapping so
feelings
hard.
or something later
Also,
in
he
this.
was reading Katie's diary in this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What a jerk. So
Oh, he was definitely trying to look up porn on the internet during this montage. He goes, "Let's get the dirtiest, darkest thing on the internet."
and then it
And it's
blocked
like,
him.
block it.
Yeah.
Like, so this kid was trying to look up, like, raccoon dicks. And
Well,
he-
because remember,
yeah.
Kevin McAllister looked at like some Playboys or some shit, but you can't do that anymore because Safe Search.
Yeah.
And
No,
Sarah
and he
had
made
to
a
come out.
face reading his sister's diary too. So there you go.
Because he was definitely talking about that stuff.
Getting down.
So he's having his whole like Home Alone moment, right? And then the dad decides, you know what? They gave me the code. I've got the key right here. I can see his code
Yeah, that is.
with
not
the
his
doll,
dad.
Jeff. Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna go in and grab it.
Wait,
But
he
this
has a dad?
this idiot puts his key in, and then, and I guess they're trying to make you understand that like he really doesn't want to go in and steal this. Like it feels wrong to him, but he's
What
like, I'm
makes
just
it
gonna
weird?
do
Because
it.
I'm
Because
sure
you-
back something was
Because he
stolen
used
from
to
me.
Home Alone movies where the mustache twirly villain
Yeah.
is trying to get in there.
So he puts the key in, and in his head, he hears an alarm go off, and he sees a police car driving by, and he's freaking out. And then it turns out he's just overreacting.
Yeah,
and
it's just a car with a red bin and a blue bin
Yeah.
on top. It's so different.
it was so
How
stupid.
funny was that?
So
He
then
was a
he
good
goes
guy.
home. He goes home and he tells her about it. And she's like, I can't believe you did that. She's like, after the holidays, when they come home, I'll go over and talk to the mom. It's just a misunderstanding. You know, she has the right idea in her head. She's like, we can wait. It's like, tomorrow's like Christmas. We don't need to go get this thing right now. But then later that night, when they're all sitting there together as a family, and she starts thinking about all the memories they had with their kids in their house, she's like, no, it's Christmas Eve and a snowstorm.
And
They're
a
gonna-
recital.
Yeah, no, this was the first time they went over. They go
Right.
over several times.
Oh,
So,
man.
it's
Unfortunately.
ridiculous. Yeah. So they're like, we're gonna go over there now. And it was that was also when they had the remake of the movie that was originally in the Home Alone
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
the gangster movie.
So
but
funny,
now
right?
it's like a space movie or
Yeah,
something.
I miss this.
So
too.
good.
I miss
So
that.
Yeah,
good.
no, but again, Hunter had the best line because he goes, remakes are never as good as the originals, right, guys? And I was
And he
like,
looked at the
you
camera.
are. He
Yeah.
looked literally. He was like, this is garbage.
He's like,
Do you think he was like, I'll only be in this if I get the best lines? And they're like, yeah, okay.
Like, I just get to do my own stuff, and if
Yeah.
I don't think it's going right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
tank this movie
Exactly.
just by me.
and then
No,
like,
and then
you know what? Just leave it in.
no,
It's fine.
it's the best. That's a great scene, Joe. Because then right after that, she's like painting the gingerbread house, and it goes to fall, and he like catches it and picks it up. And
He
like,
catches it like
Yeah, I'm
superhuman.
like, are they making him out to be like the superhero? Like, what the fuck is this movie? Doesn't know.
He one hand caught
what
this
people are supposed
thing
to be.
falling
Yeah.
off a table. I
And
was
it
like,
didn't fall
holy
apart.
shit.
That
No,
was the best part. Like,
I
it's a
know.
gingerbread house. They're not put together. Also,
They
like,
just yeah.
how did that fall off the table? Like, how? Who?
Because she like wasn't paying attention. That's the whole point. Because she was like,
Because it was.
I'm so distraught that I'm
There's something in the
knocking this
movie,
off
that's
the
why.
thing. Yeah, it was so stupid. So they decide now they're gonna go over to the house in the snowstorm, and
Listen, I hate these two at this point.
There was
Yeah.
so much snow.
yeah,
He also Jeff talks about he had a dream, or he watched a one of those prison shows. I'm trying to think what the prison show's name was. Like
Eyes.
behind bars, and
Yeah.
that was like one of those real ones. And he's like, I wouldn't make it in Gen Pop.
no,
I wouldn't-
that's another thing I hated about this movie is like he's the one who's like, let's go over and do this. Then she's like, okay, let's go do it. Then all of a sudden he doesn't want to do it when she does. But then and they keep doing this thing back and forth, and it's like, then don't do it, or do it. Like just make up your fucking minds, please.
This house is gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah,
They find
it's
something
okay.
outside of it. It's got like a parapet on it. It's got like a freaking, like it looks like a castle.
It's fancy.
It's nice. It's a nice house.
Guys,
I'm not saying I need it. I'm just saying it's
The
nice.
only important scene, there's only one important part of this
Mhm.
whole fucking
And
scene.
that's a police officer.
No, not even that part.
No, that's
he
the
is in there
important
though. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's when they say that he's. They say we got to get the ugly little boy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, my first problem with this is that the alarm's on. This kid's in the house. Like, if he walks around, the alarm goes off.
No.
Like, has he just been in one room?
It might be a stay alarm. You're gonna have a stay alarm that like arms everything outside, and then.
So the kid never walked out, even like poked his head out the door?
I mean, if you can unset the alarm.
Yeah, he knows how to
Obviously,
use it.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows how to use it. But yeah,
I mean, I thought it was stupid, but
So-
I understood why it was there.
yes, they didn't really preface it with, but they start calling it the doll. The name of this unique doll is called the Ugly Little Boy because the head is on upside down.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what you
instead
say
of
about the whole
saying-
name.
Fucking doll,
Yep.
which is what any normal human would
You
say.
don't.
They said we're gonna get that ugly little boy and sell him to an old lady who's gonna put makeup on him or something
And
like
give
that.
us $200,000.
Yeah. Like something
And he's
stupid.
like, I'm not ugly.
Yeah.
He was kind of ugly though.
He was.
But,
I mean,
He's like, they want to steal me because
That's what it's selling.
yeah.
And he has like a daydream about getting sold to an old lady who's trying to feed him or something. It's like,
yeah. So he's like, I have to protect myself. So then he calls the
those
police.
dreams. I think the worst part about those dreams too is that they just think you're so stupid. Like you're not gonna get what the kid. Oh, we're gonna show him dreaming about being sold. Like no, we get
No.
what the fucking just
Yeah.
keep
Got
going.
it.
Yeah.
Just go.
it's dumb, but we got it. Like,
Yeah.
Use actual plot instead of filming this.
So the alarm does go off, and the police show up, and you guys, who's the police officer?
It's our guy Buzz,
it-
man.
I was gonna say it's not Kevin.
No.
They couldn't
Um,
get Kevin.
By the
That's
way,
name of the guy.
you said that they're doing this to make us feel dumb. They're not. They're doing this to add time to this movie. It was only an hour and 31 minutes,
dude,
dude.
it felt like forever.
With
Yeah,
this
I
shit.
know.
It felt like forever.
With this
I know.
garbage explanation, narration, bullshit.
Like I
It
would
was
have
only
seen a lot
an
more
hour
drama
and
stuff,
30
you know what I'm
minutes.
saying?
Like this is like a TV show, like a 45-minute TV show they made into an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's true. It would be like a made-for-TV holiday special.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
At the most, you get like 45 minutes commercials.
But let's talk about probably maybe the most uncomfortable scene in this movie. Okay,
Or
is when
sexy.
Oh, that's saying a lot.
good.
Or sexy.
When Ellie Kemper's character, what's her name? Pam.
Pam.
Mhm.
Pam
She's
Lena
like-
Van Dam.
She's like, I'll handle this guy, and she like hits on Buzz. She's like, oh it's our anniversary. My husband never remembers our
It's
anniversary.
working on me right now.
You seem like the kind of person
Here,
who
hold
would
on.
remember your anniversary. And then I love how he's like, no ring on this finger, ma'am. I'm a wild stallion and no one can
It's like,
tame me.
if it was a different time, you
yeah.
know. huh?
Ooh, good.
Then they say something that tantamounts to the end of their sentences, Home Alone, and I'm just like, roll the credits. Just,
Yep.
we're good. Can we please
Yep.
roll the credits, please?
Yep.
Please.
So, but at this part of the movie, you know,
Hey, but at least we know that Buzz is still a disgusting human being.
right. I mean, he wasn't horrible. He
Well,
was just
guys-
like
guys,
dumb.
so
Later
He
he was.
dumb.
You
But
find
the,
out more.
the kid
Yeah.
sees this exchange going down. Why doesn't he get Buzz involved? Why doesn't he yell for help?
Because he realizes his mom will get arrested if they found out she left him home alone. No, you were a dick and you hid in the garage and they
Yeah.
forgot about you. No one's gonna arrest your
And
mom.
there's 7,000 people
Yeah.
running around that house at one time. Like,
Seriously.
Because
Yeah.
that's what makes Home Alone great, guys. With the 7,000, all the confusion, you have to lose a kid sometimes, right?
Also, like,
Right.
there's nobody has
Right.
a neighbor's phone number.
No, I
Nobody
know.
has a fucking.
Who
any
hasn't
sort
locked their kid in a car?
They've only
before,
been there
okay?
2 months. I'm sorry, you've been there 2 months. You haven't met anyone in your neighborhood.
fucking
Yeah,
person.
Nobody.
But also, your husband hasn't met any fucking
Yeah.
person. Also, your brother-in-law hasn't met any
nobody-
fucking person.
No. Nobody's seen the husband, okay? Like, he was in 1 minute. where-
Also, a better version would have been that the husband's actually a serial killer. Like Andy Daly, a full serial killer, just like
He'd be
killing
so
he's
good
like,
at
people.
that.
hello, and he's like putting gloves on.
Yeah,
No.
hey, yes.
That
Just
would be
five
no,
stars.
that would
Five
be
stars.
just like his character in Veep, remember? Because he's like they think he's so inept, and
Exactly.
then it turns out that he's like a fucking genius,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
evil genius.
Like better use of that
Murdering
actor and
people.
that
5
beautiful,
stars for
beautiful
this
man.
movie. You
Yeah.
heard me, Andy Daly, in your reviews.
Disney's too scared to do
But you
it.
guys, at this time, they've gotten to Tokyo, and the mom has realized
Crisis Tokyo.
her son is not there.
How could you
Oh.
not? I
Well,
thought it came
right
with you.
before
I
this,
thought it
they
came
got that
with you.
stupid homebot. He tries to call homebot with the police. What mom? She's been there 2 months. She doesn't set up homebot. Like, that's like the first thing a mom does if she got one of those stupid things. She sets it up so her kid doesn't.
Dude.
First of all, doesn't like go homebot. Tell me some porn stories. And second of all,
No, it said he couldn't look up the word booby. So
yeah, but also it was like
It
in
couldn't make-
German.
no, well, it was like
Well,
in
that was
German.
something was going
There was,
on.
yeah, they were making
What?
a joke about it in the beginning. The uncles were talking to it, but the more important thing is that it was like it can't make calls from here, and it's like no, but that's the whole point
That's
of
the
it. It's an
whole point of
emergency
you.
service.
My
like,
Amazon Echo, I think, knew how to make phone calls before we let it do it. It's
Yeah.
like, we're already making a call, ordering pizza. I'm like, stop it!
Yeah.
Stop!
What are you doing?
$100 charge your credit card.
Like,
Like,
Yeah.
stop
stop
it!
yeah,
We'll put on your
seriously.
Amazon card. We get the credit for it. Okay.
So
Just like
so
Amazon delivering pizza.
they can't. So he can't call out to anybody. So the mom asks, she does call, she gets a hold of the police, and she's like, you have to send someone over there. He's home alone. Call back to the original movie. And what police officer do they send to the house? They call Buzz.
Okay, now this would make sense because that would technically still be Buzz's zone if he went to the first call. But he goes, I'm already there. Eat my dick, basically, to the dispatcher.
Like, he's like, my brother calls stuff basically
Every
like the
year.
Stupidest,
He does this
the
every year.
stupidest, thinnest plot thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are we doing?
It's like, what? No, first of all, you are a police officer,
Yeah.
sir. Like, you gotta go to the damn call.
But also, if your brother has done this every year,
It's close.
he would have been arrested.
Yeah.
Like, they would have arrested him.
Yeah.
You can't just keep
That's
calling
a false.
him fake
That's a
calls.
false
That's
report.
not okay, yeah.
False report. But also, and it's eating a burrito, just like
Yeah, and
sliding
then it
along.
shows, like, I get it, he's slovenly. Like, leave
Yeah.
this fucking man, let's him kill himself.
Seriously.
Like, what the fuck
I was
are we
like, got
doing?
it.
Hey, fat guy, eat a fat burrito,
I was like,
fat.
got it. He's gross
Like,
and a
okay.
terrible cop. But then we get my favorite scene in the movie:
Thank you, Louis, for getting
a child walking himself to the Catholic church by himself to go to a Catholic mass.
We actually skipped some parts. They go shopping at one
I don't
point
remember
with
that
the
part at all.
family. Remember, because the daughter's like, oh, I want this dress, Mom. They're like at the winter festival, and the aunt's like, oh, I'll buy it for you. And the mom's like, we can't afford this. Like, they keep like being so upset that the other family members want to buy things for their kids,
Yeah.
and it's just
Buy all
like,
the shit
who
you want.
the fucking
cares?
way, yeah.
Seriously.
If you want to buy anything for my kids, go for it.
Yeah, like, seriously, like,
Have at it.
why
okay.
are you so upset by this? It was
Abby
ridiculous.
literally will go like, "Oh, Aunt Karen will get this for me."
Yeah.
Okay, yes, she
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Go talk to her.
Good call. Good call. Go talk to her right now.
So,
Don't tell her I said that, okay?
but I'm only
Okay,
mentioning that because they are at the church. They apparently belong to this church, and their daughter is doing a performance there.
Mm.
And she clearly knew there was a dress code, but was like, "I'm gonna wear that sexy new
Yeah,
dress
the
that
sex-
my
like a
aunt got
sexy
me."
dress?
Yeah,
I
like
was
you're
like-
at church.
And
What
like
are you
everyone else is very
doing?
conservatively dressed, and she's got this one, the Andre going on there, the one.
No,
shoulder.
yeah, she was in the middle apparently because she was, you
Was
know,
she doing a solo?
soloing.
Okay.
No,
So-
no,
That's
she
her
was
solo
just,
dress. It's nice. Solo
but
dress.
she wasn't even soloing, was she? They were just
No.
sang with her. It
Yeah,
was
she
yeah.
was-
I assumed she was solo because she looked different from everyone else. I was
No,
like, oh,
because
okay.
she wore the slut dress when they were all like, we literally wearing long sleeved black dress.
But then also
dresses.
Max just shows up at church.
Well, no. So he brings, or no, remember because
He's
this
going
is
to
an
steal.
asshole.
He's going to
Yeah.
steal from the toy dress.
Yeah,
How
so-
does it steal from the
Because
toy
no,
drive?
he came there because at this point he's like, oh, I have to defend my house, so I'm going to steal a bunch
No,
of
it
shit.
wasn't
no,
even
it
that,
was
yeah.
not.
It was
At this
that.
point,
He was like,
I don't
oh,
have
it's
anything for
Christmas tomorrow, and I don't have any gifts. That was literally what
Yeah.
he was thinking.
This had nothing
Yeah.
to do with defending his house at this
No.
point.
He was literally like, I'm gonna get some presents.
This makes me sad because he's now worse.
Yeah.
Even worse somehow.
He was such an asshole because I wrote
He
it down
wanted to
there.
steal from the
I'm
toy
like, this
bin, and
dude's
he's
a
like, no,
dick.
no, you have to give to this.
Yeah,
It's for
yeah.
giving. He's
No.
like, well, I'm in need, and she's like, that's not how this
No,
works.
and that's why I'm like, are they trying to make a
We
point
don't
about
do that
this
here.
kid? So, but
and then
anyway,
the other kid who's
the son,
Jeff's son.
yeah,
It's like,
he
well,
brings
here you
back
can have this.
the Nerf guns,
Yeah.
and he was like, oh
Well,
yeah,
and at first, like the woman still wants it to be donated, but he's just like, "Oh, but I'm home alone and I'm nowhere."
no, remember he said I lost my parents
I lost my
left or
parents
something, yeah.
Yeah.
Also-
went away or passed away or
He
something.
made it seem like he'd never seen a toy drive before. Like they don't have those in
No,
England or
yeah,
something.
they,
Like
don't, Matt, they call them like Cheerio
You
Fun
guys,
Days or
he's
something like that.
really
the Johnny
rich.
Tots.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's
Something weird,
so
just like-
rich, he doesn't even understand
Like, is it a
people
drink
in
or is
need.
it a festival? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. It's a Johnny Tot.
He literally doesn't know like what poor people are.
And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so these kids are gonna be best friends, though, right?
Yeah, because they become friends because he's like, oh, I'm all alone, and the kid's
He's
like,
like,
well,
here's
you
a
have
guy.
this gift, yeah.
Oh yeah, we also missed the scene where Buzz explains Home Alone 1 and 2 to us,
Yes,
and
he
I'm
does.
like, fuck you.
Also, there
Fuck
should
you
have
in
the
your
pigeon
fucking
lady should have been in
face.
this, by the way. The pigeon lady should have
Oh,
been.
Yes,
in
no
this.
right.
pigeon lady though.
No pigeon
What
Exactly.
the hell? Exactly.
Is
She
she
got
dead?
Buzz back.
Hold up, Siri, is she dead? No.
Oh, God. So, also in this scene, the mom and dad, Jeff and Pam, are looking to the back of the church because they're
Yeah,
like, oh,
oh my
where's
God.
our son? And they see the kid who lives there talking to this old lady, and they're like, that must be the grandma.
The German grandma.
Because the night before, they heard the home
Somebody-
bot
yeah,
speaking in German.
And the mom, what he remembered was that the mom said, "Oh, if you're not good, you're gonna stay with your grandma when we go to Tokyo."
Right.
Oh, he
exactly.
must have done
Like,
that.
and like I said, he's still clear as day, clear as he just heard this, remembers all this shit. Like,
But also, you belong to this church. Wouldn't you recognize that old lady like running the toy drive? Like it's just so many plot holes. It's ridiculous. Of course, they only go to church once a year.
This
so.
is like this
there's
is
no
not
plot
a
holes
plot
in
hole.
this.
It's like a halo. It's
Yeah.
like just a ring, and the movie just exists around all
But
the plot
so you
holes.
guys, so they see them there, and they're like, they're here. We're gonna go to the house right now because they're not there, and we'll go and get that doll. So they leave when their daughter
How the
is
fuck
about
is
to
it dark,
perform.
by the way?
Yeah.
It is bright light outside, and when they get to the house, it's fucking dark.
It's dark, yeah.
Like, what? How long is this mask?
She also says, "Let's Axel Foley this shit." I'm like, Axel Foley's a
What?
cop,
What?
and you're
Yeah, but
doing
he's
crime.
very good at improvising.
You're doing crime.
He's very good at improvising.
You're doing crime.
Didn't play Axel F though. Like had a chance, didn't do it.
No. They played some other wonderful song that I loved from my childhood.
Yeah.
And yeah, really
Some
did.
delightful songs that didn't make any sense here.
I
Like the Wet
literally
Bandits
wrote, right,
theme.
my next line was, I hate that it has all the original music. So there you go.
I was like, you know how they're getting away with this? Because they're two white people.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Honey,
why they
guys,
can just walk in those
everyone in this
backyards.
movie-
Okay, so
Everyone in this movie is
Is
white,
that that one
except for
family?
Keenan Thompson.
And that one family that they
now,
like
but
go to their
now,
house by
guys,
mistake.
now we're in the airport, and we get another great cameo from another great comedic actress, Amy Okuda from
Yeah.
the Guild.
That's right.
Yeah.
Guys, I was like, Amy Okuda, and Jamie's like, what? I'm like, from the Guild. Turn it
Yeah.
down.
Doing nothing.
Do nothing.
Yeah.
Just being like, not even like bitch. He's just being like,
Putting her
beleaguered.
in her place,
Put
though.
it on,
Like,
yeah.
lady, you can... No, and I did love that the mom was like, oh, I don't speak Japanese, and like talking really slow and like, you know...
Full Catherine
Yeah,
O'Hara.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, rhyming
But,
all
like, not
everything
as
she's
good.
saying.
At all.
Yeah.
Like it was written for Catherine O'Hara. And they're like,
Yeah.
just like
Like
way too
everybody
old for
was
this.
the Wish.com version of somebody else in the Home Alone movie.
It's true.
And like they're just like,
Even the theme...
kids will love this or something.
The
I was like,
replayed
what?
theme music was like the Wish.com version. I was like, oh, God.
The first one I was like, is this actually what they played in the movie? Because it sounded so different to me because the
It's like the
circumstances
Kids
were
Bop
so
version.
different.
Yeah. And
It just, it didn't hit me at all.
Mm.
Like none of the music like hit me like it did in that movie because they did it so great. Danny Elfman did such a good
Yeah.
job inserting the music into the movie, and then just puked it into this movie. It's like, oh,
yeah. So they go to the house. They're about to go inside. They
Yeah,
that is
literally...
awesome. Holy
slapstick, baby.
They slip and fall and get wet
100
and
times.
frozen.
They crash their car.
first
First
off
off,
they
they're
kicked in the face.
they're
They
driving.
haven't crashed the car yet. This is
No,
before the
this
crash
is-
of the car scene.
Yeah.
This is when they're
They
trying to
try to
climb
go back,
over the
yeah.
wall and like she
I
steps on
know,
his face.
I know,
and-
Mike. They all blur together.
I don't understand that, why they had to do it multiple times.
No.
It's not it's
Because
terrible.
it's just stupid every time. You're
Guys,
like, oh,
they try
okay.
and get over the wall. They're doing all this funny stuff, and then Pam looks over and there's a gate there.
And there's a
Oh,
gate.
Stupid.
But then they go in. They go in,
no.
and then the door's unlocked, so they walk in, and guess what? It's a black family together.
And not even close. Definitely not that white kid. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And they don't notice these two white people walking into their
They
home.
just tell a little story. Grandpa's
Yeah.
telling the story. It's
Yeah,
fine.
they're like having like a
Every time.
good time, but then
Probably
there's no
they do
interaction.
notice, and they're just like more fucking crazy white.
there's
people.
no interaction.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
white people just walk out. They
Yeah.
didn't even see them. Like,
So they're like, well, it must be the house next door, but now we're frozen, so we'll come back again tonight.
well, then they fell. Did they fall into the pool during
Yes.
this part?
Yes.
Yes. The fucking
Yeah, the
pool.
pool. They fell into the pool, which was covered but had snow on it, so they didn't like.
But not
Jeez.
that much snow. You can see a
Stupid.
fucking
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah, you know it's a pool. Like,
Jesus Christ.
But you guys,
Come on.
we have to have them leave and come back again because then we need our montage of him setting up
Um,
booby traps.
I said I hope they get divorced after this, like immediately. I was like, if they're married, they're not having sex at least. Like,
And then they said they need a W. That's why they're going to come back and do
Yeah.
this again, because they need a W.
Yeah.
Okay.
and this is now Ellie Kemper. Pam is completely into this. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, we have to do this, and
She's
And
she's
Jess
like on
is
the
like-
warpath.
Jeff's like, I don't want to do this anymore, and she's like now dragging him along, which is also just awkward. It's like, okay.
Great.
Also, this should have been the impetus for their daughter becoming a stripper because they
Yeah.
miss
They miss her
recital.
performance.
She's already running the sexy
And
outfit.
again,
Somebody
again.
just comes up to her and is like, hey, you
Like
know there's
the-
a way you can make a lot more money
Yeah.
than what you're doing now.
So, but again,
Kenan
like
Thompson's
the
character.
uncle
Oh, no.
and the he's wholesome.
You damn...
Ruined it.
It's blasphemy.
Gross.
Here's my card. It's my
No.
other card.
So, but the uncle and the aunt are like there there being supportive. Like he's taking a video.
Yes. They're being good.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be the obnoxious
No,
ones.
I know, and they're
Great.
excited to be there with their family, and they love their niece and nephew.
I know there's someone somewhere like Mikey Day screaming at watching this right now. He's like, we're trying to go anti-trope. It's like, yes, but when you're setting them up as assholes, and then you're just the payoff is they're not assholes. I'm
Yeah, it doesn't
okay.
work
Yeah,
exactly.
they're assholes. You're contrary to what you just said, they're doing all the other things.
Also,
about
at
that.
this point, I just assume that all the traps are going to be them doing something stupid at this point.
Yeah.
Like the only
Because there hadn't been the Home Alone trap setup thing yet, so I'm like,
the only
okay,
asshole
this is
thing
them
that they
on.
did was they took their bed. But that was still you should have offered your bed. If
Yeah.
the other thing's a shitty couch.
Also, they had a lot of money, so I would have
enough.
also been like, why don't you just stay
Stay
in
in
a
a
hotel
hotel,
room?
exactly.
Yeah, or you can get an Airbnb near here.
like
Probably
did you
there's
not
someone
tell them
renting
that,
their home,
that they were going to be in the futon to pull
Yeah.
out before we
Yeah.
got there? You know,
Yeah. I don't know. It's dumb.
This
So,
is just a bad.
yeah.
what if this is a prequel to Deadpool 2, by the way?
Oh yeah, with
Because Rob Delaney also Deadpool
Yeah.
2.
His name probably was Jeff. I feel like.
He was. I think he was a guy named Jeff.
Yeah.
Actually.
So now we get the kid literally destroying his own home in order to make all these booby traps. to get these
cutting
people
into
with.
the stairs.
Yeah.
Hanging things from chandeliers.
Yeah. By the way, a chandelier holds
He's
a
Peter in
chandelier
that-
weight.
in that-
Peter.
yeah.
Oh, Jeff. Peter.
Same
Jess.
Yeah, so we have to see a whole battle plan that he's
Yes.
elaborately drawn out.
Yeah.
By the way, almost artfully, and an hour. So,
Yeah.
but also the stuff he didn't need to draw. He draws battle plan and then puts flames around it and
Yeah, yeah.
colors in the flames. I'm like, what? And also, this is why he had two traps to get them with.
Yeah.
He didn't really have traps.
No, I know.
He had a couple of things that
He buttered those stairs, though.
yeah, he had a couple of things that bounced into other traps, and you're like, that's so random that would have even worked. It's just stupid.
Every single one of them is random that it would have worked, and that is something